editing, my captioning, and all the content creation behind the scenes of things. And I thought it'd be great to have him on. And Robert, I'd love to hear a little bit more about yourself, about the tool Kapwing, and everything related to that.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks so much for having me today, Victor. So my name is Robert. I'm a senior content strategist at Kapwing.com. We're a free online video editor that works right inside your browser. So you can come to our website and start editing video from any hardware that you may have, whether you're on your phone or like a Chromebook or a gaming PC, whatever it is. It's going to be the same experience coming to create videos on our site. We're trying to really democratize the process of editing videos, creating high quality video content, and trying to bring that to everybody. So I work on our content team. So my job is to put out a lot of the tutorials, YouTube videos, blog articles, like memes and things that we make to bring people into our editor and learn about Kapwing. So yeah, it's awesome to be here, and I'm excited to talk more.
Yeah, that's great. And can you talk about the how difficult it was before tools like this, even currently, like when it comes to learning Adobe Premiere, Adobe After
Right.
Effects? That's something I know. What's funny is I know them really well, but I still use Kapwing for my video editing, or like when it comes to these, because it's faster. You
Right.
can export, you can get the captions faster and things like that. Even though I'm a expert level video editor, I still resort to Kapwing just because of that efficiency and speed of getting everything out of it, and that templatizing and everything else like that. So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that too.
Right. So yeah, for a long time, I mean, even just like in the last few years, the best or like the main options people had for video editing were these heavyweight legacy pieces of software like Adobe
Yeah.
Premiere, Final Cut, Avid, and it was kind of interesting. 'Cause it's like the people like these were the main competitors in the video editing space, and they were being used both by like Hollywood and by like your average Joe YouTuber. They're oftentimes very expensive. I mean, I know an Adobe Premiere like subscription, I think it's like $30 a month to this day. And other ones are like big upfront costs. Like I think Final Cut Pro is like $400 up front. So there was definitely like a curve, or there was definitely kind of like a learning curve and a like price issue of getting into video editing. You had to be able to afford this monthly subscription, and then once you had the software, this is very like pro feature rich software. You've got all these toolbars, tons of options. It's very overwhelming for a newcomer. I mean, I like minored in film in college. I remember in my first editing class, like learning Final Cut, just being like, oh my God, this is so overwhelming. Like, where do I even begin? How do I create something that just looks normal? So that's how it was for a really long time. And I think, with the rise of more social media tools that also like had camera and editing features built into them, things like Snapchat or Instagram or Vine back in the day, TikTok today, these social media platforms started making content creation more accessible to people. You could create an amazing Vine right on the app and then post it. You didn't have to do anything in an outside editor. And I think that like ease of getting into video editing helped bring more people into the game, so to speak. I mean,
Oh,
it's like you could create a video in just a few seconds that looked pretty good and that people would pay attention to. You didn't need an editor anymore. But there's still definitely like a need for more pro features and more pro editors. I mean, not everybody's
yeah.
going to be making a 10-second dance clip for TikTok.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where Kapwing comes in. I mean, we wanted to create an editor that was going to work for everybody. That's why, it's just a web-based solution. It's a web app. You don't need to download anything. It's the same experience on a Chromebook as on like a MacBook Pro. But we also kind of changed up the UI a bit and, moved away from some of the more traditional like features you find in an editor to make something that would feel more accessible. You can just drag a video from your desktop into Kapwing and it immediately uploads. If you want to add captions, we have a button that uses AI to listen to the video and then automatically add captions. We don't watermark the videos or make you pay to remove the watermark. You can just remove it for free. Resizing the video to be vertical versus horizontal is, just a couple of clicks. So we just tried to change the paradigm a bit to make it more accessible, easier to use, and less overwhelming for people. And we're really committed to doing that. Just making like video, it should be as easy to create one of these videos as it is to like send a text message, or like writing a blog post and creating a video should have a similar difficulty level. And I mean, we're not quite there yet. I think there is still a learning curve to get into video editing, but we're trying to pare it down as much as possible. And I think that you're seeing across these platforms, like creating videos is becoming like very common. It seems like more and more people are doing it. It's like a new way that we speak to each other visually is by creating videos and sharing memes and sharing images. So it's going to be a really important skill to have moving forward, and it's a great time to like get into this game.
And it's something that every business needs. Like, first of all, every business sucks at making content. Like almost every business out there, and they suck at producing it. They suck like the whole process. And when it comes to video editing, you guys have a very intuitive tool to use. Well, first of all, I learned Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects, which are super like complex. And then I came to
Yeah.
your tool and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is nothing to learn. But for an average Joe that like doesn't dive in, like yes, there is a learning curve, but it's very small. Like most
Right.
people that are like used to interacting with technology on a day-to-day basis can get this tool pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And learn Kapwing and learn the process of editing videos. And after that, that makes it where you can easily create and produce a lot of content, because a lot of businesses need that. They need a way to produce a lot of content, but they say, oh, I don't have enough money to hire a video editor. I don't have enough
Yep.
money to do all these things. But you can do all that through Kapwing easily if you wanted, and that's if you want to edit your videos and add the captions and everything else to have those optimizations. You don't necessarily have to do that, but it's going to make your video where you get more engagement, and it's going to make it where you have a lot more success on your videos too. So
Right.
it's really important that businesses understand that you can easily edit these videos with these tools that are super simple to use for free.
Yes, exactly. I mean, and to your point about like adding captions to your video, I think that's something that we've definitely seen like become a lot more common in the last 12 months. And there's all kinds of reasons for that. I mean, as you're scrolling through like Facebook or LinkedIn, you're guaranteed to come across videos with captions. And I think it kind of started with like the fact that like 80% of people scrolling through Facebook, they saw like were watching videos with the sound off. So if you didn't have captions, you were way less likely to, get somebody to actually stop scrolling and check out your video, check out your content. So that was sort of an initial reason. And then lately I've been seeing more of a push around accessibility. Well, beyond just the fact that people are watching the video or watching like using Facebook with the sound off, a lot of people just, maybe can't hear what you're saying anyways, and you need captions to reach a wider audience than you're currently reaching. So there's a million reasons that you should like add captions to your videos. And I think like it's honestly one of the biggest reasons that people come into Kapwing in the first place and discover us is, our automatic captioning tool. It's one click, and then an AI just like sits and listens to all of the audio in your video, and it does its best job to transcribe those captions for you with like, I think it's around like 80 to 90% accuracy. So as long as you're speaking clearly, slowly, and announcing everything in your videos, this thing's going to pick up what you're saying and create the captions for you. And I mean, I'm sure Victor, like creating captions manually is a lengthy process.
Not even going to try. Not even going to try.
Yeah. So it's definitely a place where like automating that has made life so much easier. And, it's like one of the video editing skills that I would consider core at this point is like knowing how to caption a video and getting some practice adding captions and, resizing them and seeing what looks good. And in Kapwing, you can do that for free. You can, automatically caption a video at no cost. I mean, we do have a paid tier, but for free, you can create videos like for 7 minutes or less. And, for a lot of the types of content that you'd be posting on social, like LinkedIn or Facebook, I don't want your video to be over 7 minutes anyways. That's not, the ideal length for someone just scrolling through the feed. So I definitely encourage anybody who's never heard of the product to come check us out and, see what tools we do have available for free and, see if video editing is something that might make more sense for you. Like you said, this is something that literally every business could benefit from. I mean, like going back, 10, 15 years, it was like every business needs to be online. You need a website. If your business isn't online, you're falling short. But now like we've evolved beyond that to the point where it's like, okay, it's assumed that you're online. So what are you doing with your online presence? Are you creating content? Are you creating videos? Like, how are you reaching people?
Yeah, 100%. And that's where I find a lot of the bulk and meat of Kapwing is that auto subscribe or that auto captioning feature. It's super easy. And what I love about it is that you don't need to have it up on your screen. So like you can press auto caption, and then you can press X and you can keep working while it's auto captioning your video. And I can be cutting, I can be using it, I can be making other parts of my video. But yeah, I haven't came across anything. At least I've timed myself. Like, I'm a super efficient. I'm all about efficiency. I've timed myself doing in Adobe Premiere. I timed myself in Adobe After Effects, and Kapwing still wins. So I still can't beat the efficiency on Kapwing yet. But
That's awesome.
it's really neat. It's really neat, the ability to have auto captioning that quickly and that accurately too. It has a huge accuracy. As long as you don't have an accent, basically that's all the only mandatory.
Right.
After that, it does have a super high accuracy of really getting people through the auto transcript. And if you can do it for free, if it's under 7 minutes too. So it's really nice. It's really nice to have that capability.
Yeah. Yeah. And beyond just like, even like in the times when it isn't totally accurate, it still times them out like perfectly. So maybe one or two words are misspelled, or like it messes up the name of our company all the time. It changes it to complaining. Like the AI just does not know like Kapwing as a word, but like the timing is still perfect for each like line that's uttered. So I can just go in and like change a couple words, and I just saved myself like 10 minutes. And like you said, another great thing about it being in the browser is you can close it at any time, even when your video is exporting. Like if you've used Adobe Premiere, even like iMovie or other like free options, you're used to like, if you're exporting a project, that can take over like most of the processing power of your computer. Like you have to sit and wait. You're not going to be going and using other apps while that thing's finishing. You're like, your computer's kind of frozen for a while. And with Kapwing, you can literally close out the window. It's going to continue working on it in the cloud, and go about your work and come back and check Kapwing for when it's done in a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's all browser based, and it doesn't take a huge amount on your browser either. So yeah, that's really great. Another big issue for businesses is finding video content to produce. Like, they come up with ways to produce, say, blogs or things like that, but a lot of businesses don't create content because they say, "Oh, I don't know what to create. I don't know what type of videos to create." What do you think is the best way to come up with video content for businesses?
I mean, it's definitely different from business to business, but I would just start by like thinking about like what are the things that your customers need, and what are the like problems that you can solve, the answers that you can provide. Like that's honestly like the cornerstone of our personal content strategy. Is we go out and we look for questions that people are asking on Google around content creation. So whether it's, how do I subtitle my video? How do I create the silhouette challenge on TikTok? How do I make the Bernie Sanders mittens meme? Like, how do I edit? Like, how do I cut a clip in half? Like anything that we think of or that we see on, Google search, like Google Trends, amazing tool. Please, everybody, check out Google Trends. Type in keywords related to your business, and you will literally see what people are searching for related to those keywords. So we do our research. We go out and we look on Google Trends, and we use SEO tools to see like what are people looking for around content creation. We find those questions that people are asking, and we create videos that answer those questions. We create I just named, we've created a video about, and that has both led people to watch our video, and then after they watch the video, oftentimes they go and use the product to, make that meme or to add those subtitles. So that's kind of how I think about it. It's like, if you're at a total loss, like, what do I create? You just have to think about what are the problems that your business solves for your customers, and then make content that answers those questions. And hopefully there's a way to like link the answering the question in your video to them coming on and becoming a customer, or checking out your service, or even just visiting your website. If you can get somebody to go from YouTube to your website, that's a major win in and of itself. And at that point, I think the likelihood of them going on to become a customer is significantly higher. So yeah, I just, every piece of content we create is like rooted in questions that we know people are asking. It's a little off the topic from video creation, but, starting to learn about SEO and about, search engines and what people are looking for, and the breadth of tools that are out there to see what people are looking for, will do you wonders in terms of coming up with content ideas. Like, so much of what you should create is already, like, the data is already out there with the keywords around your business and your niche. You just need to go and do the research and find what people are looking for, and then make videos that answer those questions, or, blog posts or anything.
Yeah, like that's where I talk about Google Planner, like the keyword research tool that Google already gives you, free tool to use, similar to Google Trends, where you can easily see what content to create for your business. Like you can
Yep.
literally type in like anything related to your business. You can type in your business name, for
Yep.
example, and then you can look up related search terms of other things that people are searching. So if you're a video editing tool, you can type in like video editing tools in keyword planner, and it will find other things related to that search term where you can target through a blog, target through a YouTube video, and you can really tackle that strategy to rank for that keyword. So you're completely right. When you're stuck to find content, the data is out there to find more ways and more. The data is out there to show what next content to create for you. When
Yep.
it comes to using these keywords to take that your strategy to the next level there. You're so right. And I love the way you guys do the memes. Like you always have your content creation around your memes and how to create them. That's really a really smart content strategy. And especially when it ties to your tool, that's really smart. And I bet you guys get a lot of traction because of that. Your content strategy based around your tool.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely helps. And I mean, this won't apply to everybody. We've like built tools internally that make it easy for our team. If we identify that there's like a meme that's getting popular and somebody could reasonably come into our product and make that meme, we can actually build out templates in Kapwing that have like, I don't know, like 75% of the work is done for you. Maybe you just have to add the text, or you have to like place Bernie into another image. We've done the work cutting him out and everything else. So like if you
Mhm.
find ways like that that you can optimize to like, make a little shortcut for your customers. I don't know how that applies to like every business. It's definitely very like particular to what we're doing, but it's been super helpful. Like I can go and build a template really quickly because we have the infrastructure in place to build those templates. And then I can make a YouTube video about that template. And it just like they see the video, they understand how the meme is made, and then they use our product to do it. So yeah, like any time that you can make people's lives easier and make content that's just going to like help them save some time, like there's a lot of there's a lot of wins you can get in there. I also encourage people to like think like with the whole spectrum of content that's out there. Like I know, like I mean, I feel like older people a lot of times, not to like be ageist or anything, I feel like people are like reluctant to go check out TikTok or like an emerging platform that all the kids are using. But going on those platforms and like looking up, just like you do with the keyword planner, looking up like hashtags around your business and seeing what other people are creating, you'll be so inspired and really surprised at how many people who have similar businesses to yours, or who have a similar career path to yours, are making like really interesting and clever things to reach people. And we get a lot of inspiration that way too. Like, I mean, just scrolling through TikTok, I see ads and I see like tutorials for other video editors pop up, and all the time, just like, oh, why didn't I think of that? Like, so don't be reluctant to like go check out a new platform. Like I think the ability to get onto a new platform like TikTok, or something more recent like Clubhouse, and immediately just be able to like pick up on the like, what makes this platform different? How can I use this platform to my advantage? Like what value can I get from this platform? That is a superpower. And I think everybody
Yeah.
should be doing that. I don't think like there's any reason to be like, oh, I'm not on TikTok, I don't do that. You're missing out on chances if you are closed off to like these new things, even if they do seem kind of juvenile at times.
Yeah, 100%. And it's important to know that each of these social media platforms have a certain format behind them. And what you can do is you can use Kapwing or any of these other video editors to change that to that format of that particular of that to particular platform. So, for
Exactly.
example, Facebook, you have that 4x5, and then by Instagram, you have that 1x1. For TikTok, you have that 16x9 and or 9x16,
Yep.
and that way you can change all those formats based on each particular platform, so that way you have an effective engagement there, because you can't expect to post a 1x1 format on TikTok. That's not going to perform very well. You have to
Exactly.
adapt it to the specific platform to have the best results. You can't expect to have one size fits all ad for all these different platforms. It doesn't work like that. And you have to understand the platform too. Like You can't
Exactly.
expect the same post on Facebook to work on TikTok. Those are two separate platforms, and they're going to perform completely different based off of that. And they're going to
Hmm.
be completely separate, and you have to change the format and change the types of posts you do on that platform. Test all those different aspects of each platform, but you have to understand and actually understand TikTok, understand Clubhouse, and understand what's going on. And then you can say, oh, okay, I can adjust my content like this, or I can adjust my content like this. But it just comes down to changing those formats, understanding the platform itself, and then changing your content to it. So that's what it comes
Exactly.
down to.
Exactly. Everything you said, totally agree. You can't like expect one post to do, have the same kind of results across every platform. It's different audiences, they have different tastes, and there's just different expectations for the people watching the videos. So I actually was just checking out your YouTube channel before this call to, kind of get a better idea of some of what you've been talking about recently. And there was a video that I definitely agree with. I can't remember the title. You were saying something along the lines of like, I post bad content all the time, or like
Yeah.
all the time I post things that may not perform. And that's like so important that people accept that like you're gonna take a lot of L's when you're posting a lot of content. Like a lot of the things that you make and the even things that are brilliant are just not gonna click with people. The timing might be wrong. The content might not be as good as you think. Like it just, it may not be the time for that post. That's fine. You have to be comfortable like posting, having bad results and like learning from them and then adjusting course all the time. I see oftentimes people say like, "Oh, I don't think that's going to do well. I don't think people are going to like that. I don't know if my post, I'm not a personality on camera." Like whatever. You have to put those things
Yeah.
aside. You just have to like keep trying and keep getting a feel for it. Like TikTok's a platform I've thought a lot about lately, but people are very forgiving on there. You can have 5 bad videos in a row that get like no views and then have one take off to 100K. And
Yeah.
you wouldn't have gotten there if you didn't just keep iterating and trying and making
True.
new things. So like I love that sentiment of like, don't be afraid to post bad content. I mean, you should of course try and put effort
Mhm.
into the things you do and don't just like post something for the sake of having it post, but like don't
Yeah.
be afraid of people not liking or not watching, because the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. I mean,
Mhm.
I have so many examples from the Kapwing YouTube channel of like, a video that I also like, don't obsess about the details. You can make
Yeah.
high quality stuff quickly. And sometimes like forcing yourself to be like, I'm going to make a YouTube video and I'm not going to spend more than an hour making it. Sometimes that's your best stuff because you're just pressured to like do a good job and make it happen. And even if it's not your best stuff, you learn from like quickly trying to produce. I've had YouTube videos that I made in like 45 minutes get 100,000 views before, just from like
Mhm.
the timing was right and I rushed it and I got it out. Maybe the quality bar wasn't where it could be, but it was
Mhm.
still worth it because we struck when the iron was hot. So
Mhm.
yeah, like across all these platforms, you just got to keep trying things. Don't be afraid to lose, and you'll find a winner in there eventually if you keep going at it.
Yeah, like for me, it came down to like I had to ask myself like, why do I not post? And it's
Hmm.
like, oh wait, I don't want to post because I'm afraid of what people might say about it. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to just post anything. Like I'll just post like I'm gonna start posting now, and that was my first post. And after that, I got over my fear of like over consistently doing it. I got over that fear of what people may think of that LinkedIn post, and that's helped me throughout throughout my life. So
Yeah.
I no longer care, and that's why I say like not to make these posts like there is no perfect post. Like
Yeah.
there is no perfection over these posts because a lot of these businesses have to have like all these specific rules, all these rules based off it, and they have to be absolutely perfect. But they're only getting one piece of content out per month, and that one piece of content sucks because of how much overproduction it is. So it comes
Right.
down to being a real human. Like if you act like a real human, you don't need a lot of post production. You don't need a lot of stock footage. You don't need a lot of video editing. You can just put it in Kapwing and get it done like within 10 minutes, and then you have enough content there. So if you are overproducing a post, if you are spending a lot of time on a post, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should try posting less quality content because people might resonate with it more. Because if you're
Right.
constantly posting stock footage, you're constantly posting this super high quality stuff, people might not resonate. They might not understand your content, and they might not you might not get your point across the way you want it to, rather than if you were just a face to face like this. It may not
Exactly.
be the best quality you want, but it comes down to you have to be okay with it not performing. You have to be okay with it failing. So that way, once you get over that, everything's okay. You can post all these types of content. You can test all these different things and be okay with it. Like literally, like tomorrow, if I heard if I had some data point where stick figures were the next thing where that would get the most reach, I would be posting stick figures, and I would not worry about it. And like that's how religious I am when it comes to posting content and testing new things. Because
Yep.
if you're not testing new things of what's working and what's not, then you have no idea. That's why when you're posting one piece of content per month, you're not going anywhere. You're not
Right.
testing anything. And you have to be posting like almost daily or weekly, because that way you can test more things there. And having one piece of content to test, that's just not enough. You have to test all these different aspects, all these different niches. You know how we just talked about formats. Formats are important to test. Which format we may work for each particular audience and niche that you're in. So all these different things you have to test, and you can't do that when you're only producing one piece of content per month. You have to first be okay with posting bad content with yourself. You have to be okay with that, and you have to be okay with not producing perfect content. After that, then you're golden. You'll be able to produce many pieces of content, test everything, and be okay with it failing. Because then that's when you can create consistent content. With you being okay of it not being perfect, then you can produce consistent content. That's how you get to that perfect point. A lot of businesses
Exactly.
try to create that perfect piece of content, but they just fail over and over, because that ideology of trying to become perfect is the reason why it can't be perfect, because they're
Yep.
not testing and they can't get to that right point of what their audience wants. And that makes it where they can't create that perfect piece of content, and they can't get anywhere close because of that ideology of being perfect. So it comes down to like just posting consistently and just testing all these different aspects and not worrying about being perfect.
Yep. Yep. Done is better than perfect. Like a huge mantra at Kapwing. And we are like first to tell you, like, go look at our YouTube channel, scroll back a few months, look at the quality, look at the quality today. Like there's an improvement, but we're like happy to show you that like our videos were super scrappy at first. Like I was shooting YouTube videos off my MacBook camera, which looks like shit, you know, like I don't know if I can curse on here, but like,
Mhm.
um, so yeah, like
Mhm.
just, you know, and another thing is like with how saturated, you know, these platforms are now with content like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, like there's just so many posts in people's face every day. And if you, like you've been saying, if you obsess and obsess over the quality of that single post, like in reality, a lot of people are just going to scroll right past it anyways. It's a numbers game. I'm just like there consistently for people to see you, a sense of who you are. Like, you know, if you could spend all of your time on this one post and then, you know, nobody sees it, it just gets lost in the feed. You posted at a busy time or something. So yeah, like I honestly, like something we do sometimes with like newer hires at our company is we'll just challenge them to be like, okay, like in 5 days, create 5 videos, 5 YouTube videos, like set yourself up for this challenge. And, you know, however you have to get it done, get it done. Just, you know, each day make a new video. You don't have time to obsess over the details because you have this fine deadline of a video every day for 5 days. And by the fifth video, you're going to have learned a lot that you didn't know from the time you made the first video. You're going to learn about how to, you know, better use your time to get the most quality out of the short amount of time you do have to make the video. You're going to learn, you know, how to post, you know, get that description together faster, like what makes sense and what doesn't. You're going to have some data points from the views on the first few videos to see what was working and what wasn't. So, you know, challenge yourself and set deadlines for yourself and things like that. I mean, yeah, it's totally a numbers game. And it's just like getting comfortable with posting is just like getting comfortable on camera. You have to make a, you know, good amount of videos before you can just naturally hop on camera and start chatting and not feel, you know, awkward about it. And it's the
Yeah.
same way with posting. You need to put a lot of content out there before you can trust that, you know, it's okay to fail sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just, yeah, everything you said was so true. And when it comes to like just creating videos and distributing them across all these different platforms, it's it's so important when it comes to producing content that you're just always just being consistent. Like there's
Hmm.
really not any other there's nothing else around that when it comes to just being consistent when posting your content. Every single piece of content you produce, you will gain a little bit more insight of what the
Yep.
next post will be. And that's why
Hmm.
when you're posting like a lot, you get more insights out of that. Like you may notice that on a certain comment like that someone made, oh, like this person had a question about Amazon selling. I need to make more content about that. And
Exactly.
that's how I basically designate my content. I don't have a content strategy plan. Like I just post content, I gain insights, and then like I might gain one person may comment, and that can completely change my entire strategy for the next month. Like just off of
Mm.
those little insights that I get, because I need my strategy to be dynamic. I need it to be ever
Hmm.
changing and to evolve with the audience. Because I notice a
Hmm.
lot of businesses, they plan their strategy but they're planning it off a base that they what they want instead of what their audience wants. And those are two separate things. Like what the post that you like and the post that your audience likes could be completely separate things. So you need to make sure that you are strategizing based on your audience and not yourself. Because you have to separate, you have to take yourself out of the equation and not say what you want and say what your audience may want. If you are a
Right.
business, if you're a personal brand, I would say what you want. But when it comes to your business, you need to do what your customer ends up wanting. And
Yep.
sometimes it just takes consistent posting of what you want to adapt that perspective of your audience. Some,
Exactly.
sometimes it works like that. But it comes down to if you are a business, you need to be adapting your strategy to whatever your audience likes to engage with. And you can do that in a lot of ways. On Facebook, you can literally type in your audience interest and see what posts they're engaging with. And then you can
Hmm.
emulate that and create those posts just like those ads and make it where you have really good performing ads and you can already go off of posts that already work, meme formats like you're already doing, and things like that. And it makes it where it performs a lot better. So, just something to keep in mind that you are going to get insights out of that, and make sure when you are developing your business strategy in place that you have that you're always looking at what your audience wants. You're responding to your comments. You're responding to all these different things so that way you can get your next insight of what next piece of content you can create. Don't plan 12 months out of what you're going to have. I would say a month max of what you're going to plan of content because I don't want your content should not be static ever. Like you should always be adapting and changing and testing throughout your entire it should always be dynamic and you should always be changing it to whatever your audience wants because they're moving fast. Your audience
Yep.
is moving so quickly. And there's no way if you have a 12-month strategy of what content you're going to post, that it's just not going to work. There is no physical way. I change my content daily, much less
Yep.
like yearly. There's no chance of that sticking. So
Yeah.
it must be dynamic when creating this content.
Yeah, and it's totally fine if you put together a strategy for like a month or something and you see it's just not working. Like it's a good thing to like change course. Like don't be
Yeah.
afraid to drop your plan and say, okay, that wasn't working. Like maybe you're like, okay, this month I focus on Instagram. Last 2 months I've been only like making content for YouTube. That's been my focus. I'm on Instagram. You start doing the Instagram thing regularly, you're not getting much results. You're still getting views on YouTube, like better results from what you were doing before. Like it's okay to axe Instagram and go back to what you were doing. I think there's also this sort of mounting pressure, like even with what I said earlier of like, oh, go check out every single platform. Don't like, stray away from one of them. There's also this mounting pressure that you have to be good at every single platform. You have to have a
Yeah.
presence on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, like Twitter. It's okay to like have one platform that you really are focusing on at a time. Like we were trying for a while to do Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube really well, and we couldn't keep all of them at a consistent rate with the resources we had. We didn't have like a person to dedicate to each one, so we kind of stepped away from TikTok for a while and just focused on YouTube. Like for months and months, YouTube was the main thing we focused on. We posted occasionally on Instagram or on TikTok, but like YouTube was where we were spending the most of our resources each week. And it paid off. Like we started growing on YouTube. Don't feel like you have to constantly be making things for, everybody everywhere. It's okay to hone in on one platform, try and get a feel for it, and see for a few months if like posting on YouTube works for you. And if not, like, it's okay, move on to something else. But, you don't have to, like, every time you're like, I want to make a piece of content today, you don't need to be making like a piece for every single platform. Like you can, and like that does work for some people, but just out of personal experience, I would recommend like hone in on one of them and try and really get good at that before you, start expanding out, because it's just going to be easier to like learn the culture of that platform, how the analytics tools work, what people respond to from your content, and like just go for it there first. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and it comes down to testing on each of these platforms. Like you never know what piece of content may take off. Like something that works on Instagram may not work on TikTok, but you would never know that insight unless you tested it. You would have no idea.
Right.
So it comes down to testing which of these platforms are going to end up working the best for whatever content you're creating. And it comes down to your audience. Like if you have specific audiences that you're targeting, say the younger age, then you can be really trying to dominate Instagram and TikTok, and your TikTok may explode, and then you might start creating more content for TikTok instead. So, but it all comes down to actually posting on the platform and testing if it actually works. And if you do notice that one thing works and that you want to try one more, that's completely fine to stay on one platform and try to dominate that. But you still have to test. Like your YouTube content, a clip of a YouTube content may work great on Instagram. Who knows? But you won't know until you test it. So that's what it comes down to, really testing your content on each of these platforms to see what performs the best.
And a quick shout out back to Kapwing for a sec. Like, say you do make, like, there's this kind of craze around micro content, which is this thought that I can make a 5-minute YouTube video. And then from that 5-minute video, I can cut up a bunch of like 10, 20-second clips that I can then post all over these other platforms. And there's definitely something to that. Like if you post a 10-minute video, just imagine the breadth of like 10-second clips that might be quality that you can pull from that. And that's like one of the things Kapwing does best right now. You can literally take the URL to a YouTube video, paste it into Kapwing, and it's going to upload that full video into Kapwing. You can then resize it to like the vertical format for TikTok, or maybe the 1x1 for Instagram. We have a button that in one click resizes your video, and then you can trim it down to just like the 10 seconds you want, export that out of Kapwing, and then go post it on Instagram. So if you are making longer form content, it's definitely worth trying, like chopping little pieces of it to then post elsewhere. Now, I've had kind of mixed results with that. Like when I take a piece of my YouTube video and I try and put it on TikTok, I've noticed people don't respond to it as much. It seems like on TikTok, they want you to make content that's like for TikTok first, and that's fine. But then on Instagram, for example, I might be able to take a snippet of my YouTube video and have more success. So like seeing opportunities to trim down just a piece of a longer video and then reuse it, like you can take one video really far. I've heard about people getting as much as like 30 to 50 pieces of content out of one video just because they chop down like small enough clips. And Kapwing is like one of the fastest ways to do that. And I'm not just saying that because I work there. Like I've used a lot of these tools. I've, explored the whole spectrum of what's out there for video editing. And there's very few tools that let you just paste a link to upload a video directly into that editor. Like you're not going to find that on iMovie or Premiere. So big shout out to Kapwing for that feature. It's like honestly one of the best parts of our platform, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Like I'm literally gonna take this long form piece of content, cut it up in probably 12 to 15 little clips, post it on LinkedIn, post it on Facebook, and it's gonna do well. Like there's certain pieces, like, and some won't. Some are gonna do well, some aren't, and I'm completely okay with that. And I'm gonna gain those insights of what does bad and what does good. So it's really fascinating, and you can take exactly what you're saying. You can take these long form pieces of content, and if you are a business and you don't know what that long form piece of content could be to produce all your other micro content, then that's where you can pull in let's say you can have a conversation with a customer and record it or something, or you could you could take a video of how it's made in your kitchen, and and you can show how it's made, and then you can post it on YouTube or something else like that. And there's so many ways to create content. You just really have to dive into what could be an interesting video to create, and design it around your audience. So if you are a restaurant, if you are a let's just use a restaurant for example, and you could start out by creating content for Google Maps that does really well, and you can post pictures, post videos to Google Maps, and that content will show natively for Google users. So great, that's a great way to get lots of traffic to your store really quickly. But yeah, it all comes down to finding what piece of content is going to work best for you, and it starts with testing and producing all these types of content. It just comes down to really just trying new things. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, yeah. I've worked with a decent number of Twitch streamers in the past, and something that I've repeatedly heard from them that I think it just applies to this conversation is that, like, on the Twitch platform, there's not a lot of ways to like promote yourself right now. There isn't really a good recommended bar. There's just, if you're a streamer on there and you're new and you don't have many followers, like it's just hard to get discovered, especially if you're like playing a game or something that thousands of other people are playing. You're going to be at the very bottom of this list. No one's going to find you. So
Yeah.
Twitch streamers like literally rely on the ability to take their like hour-long stream and go and cut up clips from it and post it on Instagram, post it on Twitter, post it longer compilations on YouTube to then grow themselves on this other platform. And I think like while that's very true for Twitch, it's true for everywhere else too. Like the more people you can get, the more eyeballs you can get on your stuff, like the better chance you have of, finding some fans and finding an audience. So definitely like cross promote your stuff and take those clips and do the most with them. Like a 5-minute video is super valuable. You can get a lot out of that. So don't let it just end with posting it to YouTube. Take those clips and really like do something with them.
Yeah, and like let's say if you have no idea what content you could be producing for your business, it could be as simple as literally talking about how your day was and just trying to appeal to the human side of people and saying like, "Oh man, my day was so tiring. I had to do blah blah A, B, and C for my business, and it was really tough," or something else like that. And you could just blog about it, and you could take those pieces and get into a thoughtful conversation, or talk to your customers, or reply to other comments, or make content or anything else like that. And there's just so many ways to do it. It's just a lot of businesses don't. They
Yeah,
see it as work, and they don't see the value in having that content. But in the next 5 to 10 years, content for business is going to be mandatory to be discovered. Because think about it, all the customers and all your people are on these platforms. So if you're not posting, your competitors are, and they're going to
yep.
be putting out content where your customers are, and you're not going to be relevant if your competitors are doing that. So you need to make sure that you are posting content, because if you're not, your competitors will be taking your business away.
Definitely. And I think like authenticity, like what you're describing about like just be open to talking about your day. What were the biggest pain points? Or like, I don't know, I like the restaurant example. Like if you're in the kitchen and like someone made something really spectacular that looks amazing and everybody was really excited about it, or it tasted great, like film it and talk about it and talk about what made it great and talk about the colors of the dish and how it was plated and what makes this better than, what you can find elsewhere in town. Like that authenticity of just bringing somebody into your world, it makes them feel like you're not just a business, you're just like another creator, you're another person. Something that I feel like on LinkedIn I see a lot, and it just like the authenticity just gets lost. Like people like using stock images is just the worst. Do
Yeah.
not like use these other like outside images to try and tell your story. Like just tell your story. The
Yeah.
more content, the more that like content grows and the businesses rely on it, like the more your customers are going to see through the BS. Like people want to see something that is relatable. Like relatable content always performs really well. Like if you like go and look at the top viewed videos on TikTok or Instagram, like a lot of times it's comedy just about this everyday situation that almost anyone who's human can relate to.
Yeah.
And like that relatability is so essential to like connecting with your
Mhm.
audience. And that's something we've strived for a lot at Kapwing. Is like if you come to our website, got tons of pictures of our office and of the people who work there. And it's not like these weird, like posed like
Yeah.
professional photography images. It's just like us hanging out, us at a restaurant eating dinner together, us like doing work. Like we're just
Yeah.
taking pictures on our iPhones around the office and showing people what it looks like at our company. And it has all kinds of great benefits, that authenticity. Also, like if you're growing your business, you're hiring and trying to bring new people on, one of the like main things that like people in our application process say to us is like, it seems like a cool place to work. Like all the pictures, all the videos on your YouTube channel of the team. And like we do videos on our YouTube channel, or used to, where we would like sit down team members and just interview them about like, what's your favorite meme? What's your favorite thing about working at Kapwing? Like, what do you
Yeah.
do each day at work? And people who want to work for us come and watch that stuff, and they see that, we're just being real. We're just sharing who we are with you. We're not like this, buttoned up business with all these walls, like pretending to be something else. Like we're just humans. You are a human. Like let's connect over that. And then, if there's something there, maybe then we do business after that. But that authenticity, like if the authenticity is lost, like you're going to
Yeah.
have a very hard time finding an audience.
And too many businesses push against quality versus authenticity. Like they go for stock images over their team. They go for all these other things that just aren't them. Like you would have more success in your content by posting a picture on your iPhone with your team than you would by having a stock image there and talking about something else. Like it comes down to authenticity, and lower quality will always outweigh quality every single time. Like you can get a 1080p HD image of a stock image, or take a awful quality image of you and your team making a funny face, and that you and your team making the funny face will win every single time, because you're being a human, you're being relatable, your business is relatable, and you're being a human being that is relatable to them. But these stock images of having the buttoned up everything, you're not relatable. You're just acting like every other business that only cares about quality and less about your customer. That's just what it comes down to. You need to be a relatable business, a relatable human being. And it's important to not have all these filters. Like you don't have to have all these filters when creating this content, because then you're not gonna get through to them. You're gonna seem less authentic with those filters. So
Right.
it comes down to being the real you and producing the content that isn't necessarily like, it comes down to the conversation of being personal or professional. Like I have that conversation on LinkedIn all the time, because when you're acting professional, you're being a filtered version of yourself. You're not talking your full authentic self of who you are. Yes, you have to be professional to a point, but you have to be personal too, because you get that human connection with that person. Because at the end of the day, relationships matter. Your relationship with that person matters. And if you're being so professional, such a filtered version of yourself, you're not going to get that human interaction. You're not going to get that human connection with that person. But if you're personal, you will have that human relationship throughout the rest of your life. So in my mind, being personal will always win, and being that true, authentic version of yourself will always outweigh. And if you are a business, you need to be posting lower quality content of your team and of everything around your business, because that's what's going to do better. You having the bloopers in your YouTube video is
Yes.
going to add a lot more credibility and a lot more connection to you. You don't have to act perfect and show only your successes. Show your failures, because that's what's going to make the show that and cause that human connection with your business, is actually showing your failures, showing those hurdles, and showing those bloopers. And it comes down to being okay with showing your mistakes. If you are
Right.
okay with showing your mistakes, you have a relationship touch point. You can be more relatable to your business, so that way they can interact with you and understand you better. Just makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And like also, in addition to like showing your failures and just being honest with people, like show your successes. And like this advice may not be for everybody, but it's done wonders for us. Is like, be transparent. Like, we oftentimes in our blog posts, if you go to kapwing.com/resources or /blog and read the stuff we write, we'll just straight up tell you how we did it. Like, if we find success on YouTube, we will show you our analytics. We'll show you how much money a video made. We'll show you exactly like what our strategy was to get there. And we'll like just basically like show you our secrets. And I know that's not for everybody, especially like this like cookie or this restaurant example. Like, you don't want to go and give your recipes away necessarily, but like to an extent, you know, we're not sharing everything, but to an extent, giving people just a window into like, this is how I did it. These are the results I had. This is, you know, where I fell short. This is where something worked. Like, that transparency builds trust with people. People see that you're willing in your content to just straight up share like a secret to your success. You're not saying like, oh, it's gate kept behind my ebook. Come pay for my course. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of like that gatekeeping. I think you like being transparent. Like, while yes, you are giving away some of your like, you know, secret sauce for free, people are it's gonna build trust with people. And I definitely know that I love doing business and like engaging with brands who are transparent in that way, and who I just feel like, you know, they're being 100% real with me, not gatekeeping like what they need to know. Another thing is like, in the age of COVID, with all of us, you know, at home right now, like, there's a refrigerator behind me. Like, this is like, I'm in an Airbnb right now. I'm just like in a kitchen. Like, I'm not like in an office place. That's fine. Like, those barriers have been pretty much gone for like a year now. Being professional has a whole new meaning, like this day and age. And I think as we, you know, hopefully come out of this soon, like, a lot of those things are going to stick. You know, we've been taking our conference calls from our bedroom for a while now. And, you know, I think some of the facade of like professional life and the office place and all of that is hopefully kind of behind us.
Yeah. And if you are building a business, building a brand, and all these other types of trying to increase your business, then you are trying to build trust for that brand. And the best way to do that is by building trust with your customers. They're the ones that are going to advocate for you. And the best way to do that, to build that trust, is by showing those bloopers, to showing those failures of your business. It's so important. Like what you said was so true when it comes to being authentic. Like, you have to show those bad parts. You have to show those hurdles and everything else. And that could be a great piece of content for you, because for all these businesses, all businesses go through failures. All businesses have hurdles. And that could be that piece of content that you create that will do better, because I guarantee that your content you create about your failures are going to do 1,000 times better than the content about your successes, because everybody loves posting your successes. Everybody does that. But very, very few people have the self-esteem to post their failures. And that's where you can differentiate yourself in your business and make it where you can take it to the next level. And it's so important to really post that, because that's the content that's going to do the best, by just being that, and it'll make you feel more human and gain that trust. That if you only posted your success, let's put it on a relationship scale. Let's say you have a relationship 0 to 100. If you post only your successes, if someone only hears the name of the brand, let's say Pepsi, I have probably, like, let's say I'm 20 in that relationship scale. I've heard of the brand. I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm not at that level to like, oh, I love Pepsi. But if they appealed to me through an ad of a person that I like, let's say Nickelback in this case, I see Nickelback drinking a Pepsi can, I'm going to say, oh, that's cool. I like Nickelback too. Now it goes up to 40. And then everything else. But to get to that 100, if I see you post a failure or post a team picture of like, oh wow, they're actually good people in Pepsi. They're actually cool dudes there, and I think I can really relate to that. And then it goes up to 80, 90 relationship level. And now I'm going to be an advocate for your brand. I'm going to go, oh, Pepsi, I love them. And I'm going to be telling all my friends that. And the return on investment of me having that high relationship level with your business is enormous. I'm going to give you good reviews. I'm going to tell all my friends, and having that quality customer is so important. and trying and being able to get those quality customers comes through having real authentic content with your business. So that's how you get quality customers. And then that's how you'll be able to really gather this huge client base by understanding that it comes down to providing them value and gaining those relationships within your content. So because then they'll become advocates for you and your business.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and like you said, you can definitely create some great pieces of content just by failing. Like
Yeah.
people are very interested to see what doesn't work, just like they want to know what does work.
Yeah.
And there's great opportunity to show some personality in there, show some humor, and just be very like honest about things. Like we talk about that all the time at Kapwing when we are trying a new platform, or maybe we're doing our first TikTok post. Like we'll go and share some learnings from it in a blog post or in a video, and even if it didn't work out, like we still get value out of it by being able to share that experience. And it's another piece of content, and everybody's always looking for that next piece of content to make. So
Yeah, I'm so hyped. I just gotta like you just gave me that other insight that like that you authenticity. Like I'm gonna be posting about that all week on LinkedIn. You have no idea. I'm so pumped now. Like just that little tiny insight that those like 2 sentences you said just gave me another insight of what I'm gonna be posting for the next week because I was like, oh, I just learned that. Like he taught me something. Now I'm gonna teach. Like now I'm gonna create content around that because it really adds that other human level to it, and that's another communication point to get more relationships with other people's businesses. So I really like that, and I that's a really great insight. So yeah, that's really neat. That's really neat for sure. Is there anything else that you wanted to bring up, or any other things that you wanted to cover before we wrap this up, Robert?
No, I mean, it's been a really productive conversation. I like how we kind of went back and forth between like Kapwing as a product and just like the like technical side of like creating the content, resizing things, but then more of like the ethos around like authenticity and, sharing failures and like not being afraid to post a lot, even if your posts aren't the best. Like that, like striking that balance, because like, yes, part of it is the technical side. Learn a tool,
Mhm.
like get the wherewithal of how the software works. Go check out kapwing.com. It's free. And get a feel for a tool and see what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. We have a lot of like written content and tutorials. Like almost any platform that you might be trying to create for, we likely have a breadth of tutorials on it. So I definitely recommend checking it out. But beyond that, like the technical side, knowing how to use the software and like what looks good in a video is just part of it. The other part is
Yeah.
just like, am I being myself? Am I creating something that I would want to watch? Like, is this entertaining, or am I just making
Mhm.
assumptions about my audience and what they want based on my own biases? And kind of trying to balance those two. And it's hard. I think the
Mhm.
very best advice I had for anyone that wants to start creating content on a regular basis is watch a lot of content. Go on YouTube, just start watching the things that like you find on there. Do a search for a keyword related to your business, whether it's like professional chef, or like even if it's more like more particular, like Seattle chef, and just look at the top content, see what other people are doing, see how they make their videos, see what people are saying in the comments, and start to just like envelop yourself in this world of content creation and what other people are doing, because you'll learn so much for free just by going on YouTube and watching how other people are doing it, and what tricks
Mhm.
other people have learned. But yeah, past that, definitely check out kapwing.com. We're trying to build like that fastest, easiest content creation tool available. I think we're doing a pretty good job of it, but the platform gets a little better each day. It's still not perfect, but you can do a lot for free with no watermarks. So definitely go check it out. And thanks so much for having me on today, Victor. It's been great to chat about this stuff. I think about this stuff all the time, and I talk about it with my team, but I don't often get to talk about it with other people. So it's nice to just kind of jam on it for a while.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It was a really great discussion. So I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. Thanks for listening.